one other thing I wanted to talk about.
Sure.
So this is some cheap heat, folks. ChatGPT is an AI tool, and you can ask it any kind of question, and it gives you some wacko answer. Some people think it's brilliant; it's the next big thing. Some people think, okay, this thing's dumb as hell. So ChatGPT was asked, "What is the top 10 pro wrestlers of all time?" And this is the list they came up with. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
It's The Rock, Ric Flair, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan, Triple H, The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, and John Cena. That is the top 10 wrestlers, pro wrestlers of all time, according to Chat GPT. Dom, what do you think of this list?
Very WWE heavy. Very modern TV heavy. I think, except for Andre the Giant, everybody's been part of the late 90s to 2000s kind of return of major pro wrestling to network television and primetime television,
Hmm.
um, including Ric Flair, who's been around for a while, and Hulk Hogan. But they had a big part in the resurgence in the second half of the 90s, um, and wrestling even into a little the 2000s. So very WWE heavy there by ChatGPT. Was that part of the prompt, or just ChatGPT assumed that modern WWE wrestling is the only time that wrestlers have been good?
That's the question it had, and then the answer it gave. I drilled down a little further with ChatGPT, try to figure out what the deal is, why it would give
Okay.
such a response. And just from what I could tell, ChatGPT, kind of like a dumb person, didn't really give a lot of flavor. Started to just sort of make things up all the time. Um, I was asking about our own indie league, NJCW, that we were part of. You know,
Sure.
5, 10 years ago, or maybe about 5 years now ago, we were doing this, and it just started making up fairy tales about what we were. It said New York. It was based in New York. It said the Bonsall Street Bomber was Freddie Blassie in a mask, and just a variety of things. ChatGPT just started to make up. So I'm not so
Okay.
sure that your job is in danger. This thing is pretty dumb. But I will have to say the top 10 list wasn't too bad. It was pro wrestlers. I don't
I
agree.
was just gonna say they didn't make up any pro wrestlers and try to put them on there.
And you could make an argument that maybe, okay, these are the top 10 wrestlers. Maybe there's the most content on the internet about them.
Of
And
course.
that's really why they're putting them up.
Yes.
Or it's probably ripping off like a WWE.com top 10 list. It feels like that could easily be
Hmm.
WWE.com. But you have no Bruno, you have no Iron Sheik, you have no Roddy Piper, you have no Macho Man. There's a
These are
couple.
all modern guys who crossed over into pop culture in some fashion, right?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
Andre the Giant. I mean, so many people. He's beloved for the Princess Bride.
which he's great in.
He's fantastic in the Princess Bride. All the others, Hogan crossed over into pop culture. John Cena's making movies. So's The Rock. Steve Austin even did a little of that, TV shows. Um, Ric Flair, pop culture, big pop culture guy now. In his later years, I mean, the woo, everybody does that. He's showing up, with football teams and basketball teams. They're bringing in Ric Flair for pep talks.
He's
So
been
yeah,
in.
I could see that as the Undertaker also. I mean, guys who've kind of crossed over into the conversation of pop culture with people who aren't like hardcore wrestling fans.
Yeah. I think if I would make a top 10 list, you kind of want to spread it out amongst the decades and amongst some things that they brought to the table that were a lot different.
Mm,
Uh, so, Cena, I don't really know what he did was that different besides like he was their forever champ there for a while.
yeah.
Um, Roman Reigns not on the list, but maybe one day, as if he does hit that 1,000 day mark, he could make that top 10. But it seemed like they left a lot of historically older wrestlers out. And, it's like if you make the top 10 list, where's Bruno? And you got no women. You got no Fabulous Moolah.
Gail Kim.
Yeah, was she the TNA?
Like, how important was Gail Kim to like the re-legitimizing of women wrestlers as athletes?
Yeah, she's like got to be one of the first ones. Was she TNA, right?
She was in TNA for a while, and really that Impact Wrestling TNA women's division may have influenced WWE to say, okay, we got to make them more than like underwear models. And now you have really good wrestling in the women's division in the WWE. Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair was the match of WrestleMania. You'd be hard pressed to find a men's match as fine as that in years.